Event riding is basically a combination of dressage, show jumping and cross country, normally in a 1 day or 3 day format. In my eyes, it's the pinnacle of any equestrian sport because you have to be so adept at all different phases to be successful. My name is Morwenna Foster. I'm a local event rider in Cornwall and I'm sponsored by Woofwear. I started riding probably as soon as I could walk. My mum always had horses and it was introduced at a very young age. Basically just fell in love with it and been doing it ever since. So I was born with cystic fibrosis. It's an inherited condition and I've had it all my life. I was very lucky when I was younger. I wasn't particularly ill. I had treatments that I needed to keep going with, but I was always able to do everything that other children did, including riding. It wasn't until later on in life that it started to become more of a problem and consume more of my life. I had a lung collapse when I was about 25. Repeated damage to my lungs from all the infections had caused that. And although I was treated and recovered, the following year the same thing happened again. And this time I didn't recover quite so well, and it was at that point that the doctors started talking about organ donation and the need for a transplant, and I was sent to Cornwall Hospice for assessment. I was listed in November. Luckily, within 4 months of waiting, I did get the final call. I was admitted up there, had the surgery and had quite a rocky recovery. I was about in 8 weeks in hospital, but ever since I've been out of hospital, it's just been getting better and better.
Organ donation is important because currently there are over 6,000 people waiting for an organ transplant, whether that be hearts, lungs, kidneys, livers. And the reality is, because demand outstrips supply, 3 people every day will die while waiting for an organ transplant. So we need people to be supportive of organ donation.
As soon as I was well enough to ride again, which I think was about 6 weeks, I was back on board. My thoughts were instantly to getting back to competing and knowing that this time I'd have the strength to do it. And I bought a young horse, Maisie, and we basically went up through the levels together, learning as we go. I hadn't really competed at that level before, and luckily she's very talented and I'm very determined, so together we managed to qualify for badminton, which was just a total dream and completely, amazing.
Our campaign's called Pass It On Before You Pass Away. The title was developed by the young farmers group at Lostwithiel that we've been working with. For them, it was really important that they came up with a message that wasn't too scary for people when we were trying to have these conversations, but something that really encompassed what we were trying to talk about, which is make these decisions, share this information with those important people in your life before you're in that tragic position where it's got to be done and actually then nobody can really remember what you said if that were to happen.
Obviously, for you to get a transplant, it means somebody else has to die. It's a horrible thought, but when you're struggling to breathe and you know that that person has wanted to do that, then it becomes easier to accept.
The advance decision is a fairly major part of our campaign. It works in association with organ donation in as much as you can be on the organ donor register, but it is possible for somebody to supersede your wishes. And what you get with an advance decision is that legal binding aspect that says, no, I've made this decision, and then nobody needs to worry about it. You've made it, they all know about it, and you carry on as a family comfortable with this decision.
I think anyone that's thinking of possibly signing up, just to go ahead and do it because it's the greatest gift. I think everybody who is in that situation where they're hanging on to life would always accept someone else's organs, so if you're willing to accept them, you should definitely be willing to offer them. We don't need to take them with us when we're gone, so why not leave them behind for somebody else?